Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. My oh my, friends and family, how the tables have turned. I'm going to just tell you this right now. The once oh so mighty Packers, the team that, everybody said, including themselves, oh, you know what, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Oh, hey, you know what, we can go 17-0. Oh, hey, you know what, because we traded for Micah Parsons, we're the biggest, baddest team in the NFL. How the tables have completely and utterly turned. Because let's understand something here. That game last night with the Eagles and the Packers, that right there was more of a microcosm for the problems that the Packers are having right now than it was about the Eagles. Obviously, we'll talk more about that when I have other episodes where I talk about the Eagles. But today we're going to talk about the Packers just really quickly while also having the backdrop of the Eagles. Because let's understand something here. All season, Packers fans have been ridiculously boisterous this year in the fact that, we're going to go to the Super Bowl, we traded for Michael Parsons, we're the best team in the NFL, ain't nobody going to stop us. And yet, despite that trade and despite for all the talk over the entire course of the season, the Packers have completely fallen short of any and all expectations prior to and now even after the loss that they just had against the Eagles on Monday night. And their season, even though they're 5-3-1, it's now gone completely off the damn rails. And let me tell you why. This is a Packers team right now that quite literally, it doesn't have an identity. It does not know who they are. And on top of that, they have also shown that they have no consistency either as a team, especially on offense. Think about this. The Lions, who since week one have been in essence kind of chasing the Packers, not only both in terms of record, but also in terms of national opinion, have not only now caught up to the Packers, they've surpassed them. We have the better overall record right now. Our team overall is better. And on top of that, nobody's looking at the Packers now as being able to win the NFC North Division. And the reason why is because the Packers are in the middle of an epic downfall. While as, the Lions, we're in the middle of a massive upswing. And the reason for that is because where the Packers have continually shrunk and have continually gotten more inconsistent and worse on offense, the Lions have completely refound their mojo and have refound their groove. And the Lions are set to now absolutely continue their dominance in the NFC North because the Packers are now not only falling apart psychologically, they're falling apart physically. And you have to think about how bad that is for the Packers and how it is oh so good and sweet for us. Because let's consider this. When you look at the Packers right now, they are a mess for a number of reasons. The first reason is obviously the physical problems they're having. Because physically they're breaking down. They have multiple guys who are either injured or playing injured. Guys like Romeo Doubs, Golden, Jenkins, Reed, Kraft. These are all guys that are either out for the rest of the year or they're going to be out for the next couple of games, or if they're not out, they're going to be playing with injuries. And because of those injuries, they are struggling. And not just struggling a little, they're struggling immensely. And again, primarily on offense. In the last 2 games, the Packers have quite literally only scored a grand total of 20 points. 20 points in the last 2 games. That means that they have on average scored 10 points a game in the last 2 outings. That's not only unbelievable for any team in the NFL, but it's especially true for the Packers. Think about this. The Packers have invested an immense amount of resources on their offense over the last couple of years. They have plugged in an immense amount of stuff to try and get their offense where they want it to be. And yet, they can't do it. They have Jordan Love at quarterback. They drafted Golden. They drafted Kraft. They drafted Watson. They drafted Reed. They drafted Dobbs. Obviously, they drafted Love too, but Love had to sit the first 2 years behind Rodgers. But the whole point of the matter is that this is a team that has spent a lot of resources over the last couple of years to get that offense where they want it to be, and it's not even close. You go back to that game last night against the freaking Eagles. I mean, y'all saw the whole broadcast. I still remember when LaFleur's on the sideline and he is literally looking at his tablet and he looks lost. You can tell he's clearly frustrated. He's trying to figure out, okay, what the hell can I do to get this offense going? And it's eluding him. It's escaping him because he can't find an answer. And you have to think about it. When over the last 2 games you've scored a combined 20 points, that is a massive problem. That is a humongous problem. Seriously, it is. Because put that in the context of how the Lions have struggled offensively a bit this year. Even though the Lions recently have been struggling and just figured it out with switching up play callers back to Campbell, even when the offense was struggling, we've only failed to score 20 points or more in a game offensively only twice all year. Obviously, once against the Packers in week 1 when we were still trying to figure things out. And then the game against the Chiefs. That's it. Every other game we've scored 20 points or more. But the Packers have done it 3 times. And not only have they done it 3 times, 2 of those 3 times have been over the last 2 straight weeks. Think about that. They scored only 13 points against the Panthers 2 weeks ago, and last night they only scored 7. And oh, by the way, to make it even worse, both of those games, the Packers were at home. At home. The place where you're supposed to be mostly comfortable at. It's your home turf. You know everything there is to know about your field. You know how to exploit it, where to put things, so that way you are at your most comfortable, right? But yet, the last 2 times they played at home, they have not been able to score over 15 points, let alone 20. Whereas, oh, that's right, both times the Lions scored less than 20 points, we were on the road. We went to Green Bay and we went to Kansas City. Every other time that we have played at, home, we've always scored over 20 points. Every single game this year. Every single game. So that's a massive problem for the Packers, just from the comparative analysis and looking through that lens right there, number 1. But then think about this. The Packers all year, and even going into last year, all wanted to say the same thing. Packers fans especially, because that's where the majority of this nonsense is coming from. Packers fans have wanted to say that Jordan Love is the better quarterback compared to Jared Goff, and that Jordan Love is an MVP-level quarterback. But yet, consider this. Just take a look at the difference so far this year. Jordan Love this year has completed 68.9% of his passes, almost 2,300 passing yards, 7.9 an average a throw, 13 touchdowns for a 4.5% touchdown rate, 3 interceptions for a 1% interception rate, 103 passer rating with a 68.6 QBR. That's not bad numbers, but that's not MVP caliber numbers. That's just really good. Whereas, flip it over to Jared Goff. Goff is completing 74% of his passes. Also, pretty much the same amount of passing yards as Jordan Love. Has a higher pass average at 8.2, 20 passing touchdowns, a 7.3 touchdown percentage rate per throw, 3 interceptions for a 1.1 interception rate per throw, 117.7 passer rating with a 68.1 QBR. Think about that, folks. Goff either has matched or outperformed Love in every single category this year, despite the fact that the Lions' offense has struggled more so and longer than the Packers' one has. And consider this. Love is the more athletic quarterback between the two of Goff and Love. Which means that for the QBR, because the QBR typically is higher for quarterbacks that are athletic because they factor in stuff such as scrambling and all that other nonsense, that would mean that Love should be exponentially higher in QBR than Jared Goff is. But they're virtually the same. The only thing that separates them is 0.5. That's it. So not even a full point, it's 0.5. Now, I know Packers fans are going to want to point out that Love has had to deal with the fact that Kraft is no longer on the field. He's out for the year. Plus, on top of that, the fact that they're breaking in a new rookie weapon in Golden. Plus, on top of the fact that, Christian Watson hasn't played most of the year. They're going to want to include all that and say, well, you're not comparing apples to apples. Am I? Am I really? Let's think about this here. Isaac Tesla is a new weapon. Granted, we haven't used him as much, but he's still breaking in a new rookie weapon. Jared Goff has had to deal with, a new offensive coordinator this year. Then on top of that, had to switch to a different play caller this year. But Jared Goff has also been doing that more so over the last 5 years than Jordan Love has. Because think about it. Every single year virtually, Jared Goff has had to deal with new offensive weapons to break in. Because, that's right, in 2021, he had to deal with breaking in Amon-Ra St. Brown, a new offensive coordinator, then switching play callers halfway through the season. 2022, we brought in new weapons for him, such as DJ Chark, had to go through that whole thing again, plus had a new offensive coordinator, had a new play caller, and all the injuries that we had to deal with in terms of our offensive line in 2021 and 2022. 2023, that's right, we drafted Gibbs, we drafted, Laporta, we had to then break in freaking also Jamison Williams for that whole thing because Jamison Williams would just now started being able to be, played, so we had to go through that. 2024, again, same thing, we had to go through injuries on our offensive line and a whole bunch of other stuff, and also had a lot of injuries on defense. And then, this year, that's right, new offensive coordinator, new play caller. Jared Goff has been literally doing this every single year on one facet or another. And yet, here's the funny part. Every single year, Jared Goff has gotten better and better and better. In fact, think about this, folks. If you take a look at the two quarterbacks since 2023, take a look at Jordan Love's statistics since 2023. He's barely completing pretty much a little under 65% of his passes. He's 0.1 percentage point off. Almost 10,000 passing yards, 7.6 an average a throw, 70 passing touchdowns, 5.4 touchdown percentage rate per throw, 25 interceptions for 1.9 interception rate percent per throw, with a 97.8 passer rating. Again, not too shabby numbers. But take a look at Jared Goff by comparison. Jared Goff is completing 70.5% of his passes, has almost 11,500 yards, 8.1 an average a throw, 87 passing touchdowns for a 6.1 touchdown percentage rate per throw, 27 interceptions for a 1.9 interception percentage rate per throw, and a 107 even passer rating. So other than the interceptions and the interception percentage, which are pretty much dead even, the interception percentage rate is the same, and the interceptions are literally 2 apart. Jared Goff absolutely spanks Jordan Love's ass. Whereas, okay, let's think about this here. Jared Goff had to come to a brand new team, get acclimated to that team, rebuild the team, whereas Jordan Love has had the same play caller every single year, has not been traded, has not had to go through the betrayal of a front office. So Jordan Love has had everything more so in his favor, and yet Jared Goff absolutely just destroys him. Not only in terms of statistical output, but also in terms of actual success. Because, oh, that's right, the Packers have only won, one playoff game since 2023? And they've never advanced past the divisional round as far as I know. Whereas the Lions have won 2 playoff games, advanced past the divisional round, and gotten to a conference championship game, and were that damn close to getting to a Super Bowl. All the while, like I said, Jared Goff has absolutely spanked Jordan Love in terms of the statistical production. And again, that's while having to deal with, what was it as I wrote down here? Oh, that's right. 4 different offensive, play callers, including switching through 3 offensive coordinators over 5 years. Anthony Lynn, Ben Johnson, and John Morton. And yet Jared Goff is still doing better than freaking Jordan Love, who has had the same play caller since the very beginning in Matt LaFleur. So the fact that Jared Goff is doing better than Jordan Love, despite everything Jordan Love has going in his favor, is laughable. But then, to not only go with how Jordan Love and the Packers offensively have been doing this year, you have to think about the defense. Because defensively, like I said, the Packers wanted to say, oh, you know what? By trading for Micah Parsons, that was the final piece we needed to go and win another Super Bowl. That was all they said they needed. They had to go out and get a big-time pass rusher. They traded for Micah Parsons. They got him, signed him to a big-time contract. And don't get me wrong, they've had an excellent defense this year. But the problem is that defense hasn't performed the way the Packers have wanted it to in order to win games that they need to. Just think about it. That defense, along with the offense, has found ways to lose to the Eagles, the Panthers, and the Browns. The only team out of those 3 that is even worth mentioning losing to is the Eagles. The fact you lost to the Panthers, even though they're doing better this year than they have in years past, that's still not something I'd want to mention. And the fact that you've lost to the Browns of all teams is something I wouldn't want to mention. But then on top of that, your defense allowed 40 points against the Cowboys. 40 points! And that whole thought process is completely different from the Lions because the losses that we've had against, obviously, you in week 1 and the Vikings that we just had 2 weeks ago, that was more so on the offense not being able to do what it did because in week 1 we still hadn't figured our crap out. And then last week, week 9 against the Vikings, our offense just took a damn slumber fest. And the loss that we had against the Chiefs, that was more so on the refs, and everybody agrees with that one. Whether or not you want to or not, I don't give a damn. But just to add more insult to injury here for the Packers defense, consider this. For the entirety of the season, the Packers defense is not better than the Lions, really. And I'll show it to you. The Packers, over the course of the season, in terms of points given up, yards given up per play, turnovers, first downs, penalties, scoring drive percentage, turnover percentages, turnovers that have resulted in drives ending percentage, and also sacks, is virtually pretty much either the same or the Lions are better. The only area where the Packers are actually better than the Lions is in terms of points allowed. The Packers have given up 176 points so far this year. The Lions have given up an even 200. So there's only a 24-point difference there. The yards given up per play, pretty much the same. Packers have given up 4.6 a play. The Lions have given up 5 a play. Turnovers garnered, the Lions have 12. The Packers have 6. First downs given up, the Lions have given up 166 to the Packers 163. Only 3 more. Penalties, the Lions have 48 defensive penalties. The Packers have 58, so 10 less. Scoring drive percentage on defense, the Lions are allowing scores on 34.7% of their drives defensively. The Packers, 39.5%. Massive difference. Turnover percentage per drive, the Packers have only a 7% in that category. The Lions almost 12 at 11.9. And sacks, for all of the grandstanding that Packers fans have wanted to make about Micah Parsons being the final piece, the Packers have 22 sacks. The Lions, we have 30. So think about that. Even though the Packers made that big-time trade for Micah Parsons, they're still 8 sacks short of the Lions. 8 sacks short. So even defensively, the Packers aren't better despite the fact of trading for Micah Parsons. We have more sacks, we have a better scoring drive percentage, better turnover percentage, more turnovers in general, and even first downs allowed and yards per play. We're pretty much on the same level. So, realistically, Packers fans, where exactly are you better than us? Point is, you're not. Point is, you're still in the rearview mirror trying to play catch-up to us. The only reason why you've been able to talk the mad smack you've been able to talk this year is because you've just been ahead of us in terms of the standings. That's no longer the case. And with your offense literally ridiculously inconsistent, way more so than you could ever try to say about the Lions, because our offense is still scoring 20 points per game on average or more. Because consider this. Oh, that's right. How many games have we had where we've scored 30 points or more? Probably at least 4 or 5 out of the freaking 10 that the 9 that we played so far this year. We've scored a 50 burger, still the only team to score 50 points or more in a game this year. We just got done scoring 44. You've only had one game where you've scored 40 points or more. And on top of that, the only other game that you've scored that has 30 points or more was when you played against the Steelers and your old quarterback Aaron Rodgers. So think about that. You've only had 2 games this year where you've had 30 points or more. 30 or more. The Lions have had, 4, 5, maybe 6 in that category? So offensively, even though we've struggled, we've still been kicking your ass there. Defensively, we're kicking your ass there as well. So, yeah, that loss that you guys just had against the Eagles last night, it was literally a catalyst. It was literally a 100% realization that you guys aren't that good. You guys have just been literally resting on laurels for the last, 9, 10 weeks. And last night was kind of like the last nail in the coffin that pretty much brought reality crashing back in. It's like, oh, the Packers aren't really that good. Yeah, sure, you lost 10-7. But the point is you still lost and your offense looks like absolute booty hole. It's that simple. So, as my thumbnail says, sorry, not sorry. I take great delight in the fact that you guys are absolutely struggling. Absolutely enjoy it. Because you know what? We had our time to struggle. We figured our crap out. Now it's time for you to try and figure it out when, oh, that's right. It's the hardest part of the schedule. It's when you need to be playing your best ball. And quite literally, you aren't even close to playing your best ball. You had your fun early on when everybody else was trying to play catch up because of the fact that, oh, you just had all this excitement about the Micah Parsons trade. That excitement's worn off. Because it's not playing out the way you wanted it to. And now, you've come crashing back down to reality. And reality right now, it's a very cold and cruel place. And you aren't ready for it. Sorry about your bad luck. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to talk about this and have some fun. Quite frankly, pissing off Packers fans because I enjoy doing that. So, I'm going to end this episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I encourage you all to watch the next episode. But if you enjoyed the content, I also hope to gain your subscription if I had not yet done so already. Plus, also want to say this. If you subscribed in the past, forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not yet had a chance to do so, want to encourage y'all, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon so you guys never miss any more content I push out. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.